Hi, I'm Roger Sadowsky, and you're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. We're coming to you today once again on location from the Warwick showroom in Markneukirchen, Germany. We were invited back because there is a very special announcement that has been made with our good friend Roger Sadowsky. Roger, we did an interview I was reading it this morning. Would you believe that was 2013?
I know, a long time ago.
Yes, it was a long time ago. So tell everyone why we are at Warwick, why we are in Germany, what's going on with Sadowski and Warwick. I can tell them, but we'd rather hear it from you.
Of course. We're here because I've Framus, Warwick, and Hans-Peter Wilfer and myself have come up with an exclusive licensing agreement where there will be manufacturing several lines of Sadowski instruments at different price points and distributing them worldwide, including my accessories and my strings.
Let's get one thing clear, though. You're not retiring. You're not selling your business. This is the beginning of the next phase in the development of your company, and you're not going anywhere. You're still going to be around.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm moving my workshop this spring, and I'm signing up for another 10 years. And part of the reason for doing this is I want to spend more time at my workbench making basses and less time running a business. So, and I chose Warwick for several reasons. One, they have the most state-of-the-art guitar manufacturing factory I've ever seen anywhere in the world. Plus, it is totally 100% green and carbon neutral. And their production manager, Mark LeSpangler, before he became the production manager here, was a wood seller, and so we both share a passion for wood and the acoustic qualities of wood, and so it's really been a wonderful experience for me becoming part of the Warwick family. But everything we make with Warwick is going to be 100% Sadowski. I'm still in charge of all design decisions and all quality control decisions. So I don't want anyone to worry that they're not going to be the instruments they've come to know and love, but we will have them available in a greater variety of price points, so in many ways to make my instruments more affordable for some people who could never afford a Sadowski before.
You're going to have Warwick produce 3 lines of the Sadowski. Tell us about those.
Well, the entry-level line will be the Metro Express, which will be made in their facility in China. And the beautiful thing about how Warwick deals with China is they send one of their guys from the factory here in Germany over to China factory for 2 weeks every 6 weeks to supervise production, quality control, all of that. If I didn't know that there was a person in place in the Chinese factory to do that, there's no way I would even consider manufacturing in China. So that's number one. So that's that line. And that'll be the most affordable line of Sadowskis. Then the next 2 lines will be made here in the Warwick factory. The next level up will be our Metro line. And the top level will be the Sadowski Master Built line.
Sadowski's has been around for 40 years. And I know we touched on some of the history of how you started your company in our previous interview, but tell us a little bit about what sets the Sadowski basses aside from the other basses, the Fender copy basses or this company or that company. What is unique and what distinguishes the Sadowski instrument from the others?
Well, you know, it's hard for me to compare what I do to other people. I build in a essentially Fender style because when I started in the early 80s, a session musician could not walk into a recording studio with anything but a Fender J bass or a P bass. union directory in New York, the Musicians Union Directory, had two chapters for bass: acoustic bass and Fender bass. So, and I, again, prior to starting my own instruments, what a lot of my work was repair work and modification work on existing Fenders. So the studio guys would bring their basses to me, and I would upgrade them with both retruing fingerboards, refretting, shielding the electronics, better hardware, and installing my preamp. And I was very early into installing active electronics into basses, and the ability of that preamp to help these players cut through in the mix in the studio and live was really what I think established my reputation for basses.
I think we touched on this in the last interview, but I think one of the things that really put you on the map was getting the attention of players like Will Lee and Marcus Miller, and then later, probably much later, Tal Wilkenfeld, and who else? Neil Jason Newstead, people like that. And that must have really, I guess, when there's a good thing and there's a lot of people using it, news spreads and people pick it up.
Yeah, the other side of it is when I decided to start my own shop, I felt very strongly that I needed to be located where the top players were. So for me, back in '79, the choices were New York, LA, or Nashville. I'm a New Yorker, and so I came back to New York. And I think the top player thing is great, but I don't. The most important thing is how much I can learn from what their needs are as working professionnal players. You know, if they tell me they're having hum problems in a particular situation or whatever, or they feel they're getting lost in the mix, or all of those types of things, that forces me to become creative in how to address these issues for them. So I've always felt my business was dedicated towards for the working musician, and so to be around working musicians is essential to what I do.
Well, how about you? I mean, you said that you're going to be still working in your workshop. How do you refer to your
workshop?
Your workshop, but there's got to be a different way of life, a different way to spend your day. And I'm just trying to. You were a guitar player, right?
I was a folky hippie finger picker back.
Gordon Lightfoot and Paul Simon. I think you mentioned those folks. Okay, so you think you might get back into that? Do you play very much? Do you want to play? Do you miss it? Do you play bass? I mean, how about you as a musician? How much of a musician are you?
Well, I used to be 40 years ago. The truth is, for the last 40 years, I've been working 6 days a week and often 10 or more hours a day. And in the 80s, I was working 7 days a week. So my leisure time, I've not had a lot of leisure time to devote to playing, and in fact, I really need to. I'm very much hoping to have some time to get my chops going again. Okay. You know, and because I miss it. Playing guitar was very therapeutic for me.
Sure.
You know.
Anything else, either inside of music or outside of music, that you've always wanted to do, or someday is there something that...
Well, the thing I want to do more than anything is get back to what originally brought me to guitar making, and that was to make acoustic guitars. That's still my first love and passion, and I think I've brought everything I've learned about making acoustic guitars to my solid body guitars and basses, because I still approach them as acoustic instruments, and I still believe that the better they sound acoustically, the better they sound amplified. So, but having the time to build acoustic guitars again would be my absolute luxury.
Okay, and Hans-Peter Wilfer, who you mentioned before, has another company in addition to Warwick, Framus Guitars, and I think you might have even kind of hinted that down the road it's not beyond the realm of possibility that Warwick Framus might build some Sadowski guitars as
Well,
well?
we're focusing on my basses and accessories now to get started, but I expect I'm hoping as soon as 2 years from now we'll start doing Sadowski guitars as well.
Okay. Well, this is good. Congratulations. It's such an honor to have been invited to Germany to take part in this historic
I'm
announcement.
thrilled you were invited, and I think we've actually spent more time in the last 2 days than we ever have, and I consider you a friend, and I think you do great work yourself, and it's just been a pleasure to be with you the last couple of days.
Well, thanks so much, Roger, and it's mutual. I feel the same about you.
Okay.
Well, on location at the Warwick showroom in Markneukirchen, Germany, with my personal friend Roger Sadowski. You're watching the #1 site for exclusive one-on-one bass player interviews, and now more and more people's favorite website for learning bass online. By the way, thanks to all of you who have signed up in the last week at For Bass Players Only. Too many places to mention, but don't forget to send me your bass playing goals. We'll set up that plan for you. I'm John Liebman, on location in Markneukirchen, Germany. I just wanted to say it again or practice saying it. I've said it a million times, never the same way twice. You're watching ForBassPlayersOnly.com. Let's play bass.